Compelling.
It's not worth it. She needs to be worthy of you.
Compassionate.
I don't want you to give up on your dreams. I don't. And I want to figure out how we get this straight.
She's powerful.
Absolutely not. How dare you do that?
And she's on the bench.
Both of you all that did wrong, we will stand adjourned.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Janine Carlton is suing Lyle Morton in the amount of $10,000. Ms. Carlton claims she covered the defendant's expenses while he was in jail and says he ghosted her after his release.
You all were at one time together, and now you're suing him for some $10,000.
That is correct.
There is a complicated backstory to this matter. So why don't you begin by telling me what happened?
Lyle and I met at a friend's house. There were instant sparks. There was connection. We started dating, and we were attached at the hip.
Is that what happened?
Probably the way she remembers it, but I don't remember
How
it
do
that
you
way.
remember it? How did you all meet? Tell me from your perspective how this relationship started.
She's cool. She's cool. We did go out to date a little bit. We did go to the movies, but relationship, I don't consider it a relationship at all.
You didn't consider a relationship. Very, very different perspectives on this. So how long, from your perspective, did this relationship go on?
Your Honor, we were together a year and a half.
Year and a half.
We always discussed that we were never going to be exclusive. I don't know where she's getting this whole relationship from, because we are not a relationship. I don't know where she's coming up with this.
So you were dating her for a period of 18 months?
Well, her and others.
Did you communicate that clearly to her?
Well, I had just recently gotten out of going through a divorce. So with her, I explained that I have a nasty ex. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but she's bad. And she understood that. And I told her I was not ready for anything serious, and I thought she understood that.
So you all had this conversation?
Your Honor, we had this conversation pretty much the night that we met. Okay? But then after we met and we were attached at the hip, we were opening up to each other. He told me all kinds of things. We shared our hopes, dreams, and desires. We introduced each other to each other's families, our friends. We went on vacations, special events together. And then he told me about his estranged daughter that he really wanted to have a connection with. And I encouraged him. I encouraged him to have a relationship with his daughter and go visit her and do everything that he could to mend that relationship.
So stop right there. If this is a casual situation, did you take her to meet your family? Because that doesn't sound very casual to me.
I take all my friends to meet my family.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know.
To the family reunion?
Did you all travel together?
Well,
to the Bahamas?
Okay, let's back up a second, because she's going off on the, she's just going off the rail right now. Because I'm just out of a relationship. I don't have a lot of friends anymore. She comes along, it's great. I mean, we're hanging out, it's cool. I don't have a lot of friends at that moment. So she kind of fills that void.
He apparently, from your perspective, was somebody that you wanted to be with, that you thought that this was a committed situation. You were committed to him. You were seeing him exclusively, as I understand it.
I did not know that.
Then why are you in here suing him for $10,000?
Well, Your Honor, he did go and see his daughter. I was very happy for the both of them.
Okay, so back up. Tell me, what's the situation with the estranged daughter? Talk to me about this.
Well, my ex has been manipulating my daughter for years, and she's been basically turning her away from me. And now it's gotten to the point where my daughter doesn't care to see me anymore. Originally, I was supposed to see her during the summers, and then she'd be back with her mom during the school year because of the distance.
Right.
But I haven't been able to see her. She doesn't really talk to me much anymore, so it's kind of personal to me.
How old is your daughter?
She's 16 now. It took a turn. I mean, she did give me the advice. Credit to her for that. I did get to talk to my daughter, but I have an ex, and she doesn't like that. So things got really bad.
So when you say things got really bad, Things got really bad between the two of you or between you and your daughter?
It's kind of a mixture of all of it.
So talk to me about what happened.
I was at the casino and I had some marshals come up to me. And they just, I don't know, they said I needed to go with them. They took me to a location, told me about the accusations my ex made about me, saying I was having an inappropriate relationship with my daughter.
What?
And
so you were accused of having an inappropriate relationship with your daughter, that's what your ex said, and you're taken into custody?
I got taken into custody, extradited back to Texas.
Coming up on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
He was harassed, not only by the other prisoners, but by
attacked.
guards. He was stabbed.
I got attacked.
I was so scared.
You were stabbed?
Yeah.
Closed captioning provided by Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Janine Carlton, who is suing Lyle Morton for emotional distress.
What happened when you got back to Texas?
Well, after we went to court and everything like that, she made false allegations, and it was, it was proven that beyond a reasonable doubt that she was making these allegations. Basically, it was an attempt to get full custody of my daughter from me.
Oh my goodness, that's horrible.
And so,
but I've seen this happen, where an ex has been vindictive, and they've used the child as a pawn, and it's just horrible.
My daughter's my world, and she knows this, and so that's what happened.
When he was arrested, what did you do?
Your Honor, I did everything to help him out.
How?
Well, I knew that these allegations were false because I know him. I know he's not like that. And I supported him. I supported him emotionally. I supported him financially. So when I found out from his best friend that the U.S. Marshals had picked him up, I was so worried, Your Honor. I could not sleep because you know what happens to people in jail that are accused of crimes against children.
Yes.
It is not safe. And he ended up in custody for 3 months. And he was harassed, not only by the other prisoners, but by guards. He was stabbed.
I got attacked.
I was so scared.
You were stabbed?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got stabbed.
Because they thought you were a pedophile.
Yeah. Yeah, and, no matter what you say, they don't care.
They don't believe you.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how scared I was.
Yes.
And he was scared. And so I wanted to do anything that I could to help him get out of that situation.
Right.
And to feel safe, to feel comfortable in such a scary situation that he should have never been in the first place. So I hired a lawyer. I put money on his books. And then finally, when he got out of jail, I sent money so he could get a plane ticket and come back home.
So you hired a lawyer to help him prove that he was innocent in court.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you all have that conversation?
No, Your Honor. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Please.
She came in when I was in Vegas, still detained. She came by and saw me, and I specifically told her that I don't need her help and that this is none of her business, just to kind of stay out of it. And that's what I told her, because a lot's happening for me right now.
And why did you tell her that?
I was going to deal with it the way I deal with it, the best way I could deal with it. I didn't need her help. I didn't need a handout. I didn't need any of that. I just needed to deal with it. Right. It's a situation that's between me, my daughter, and my ex.
Right.
And I didn't want to bring anybody else into it, and that's how I wanted to deal with it.
All right. And you said that?
Yeah, I said that to her. And then,
very clearly? Very
clearly. And
did he have that conversation with you?
No, Your Honor, it did not go like that. I did go see him in jail. He is a very proud man. Lyle does not like to ask for help, especially from a female. But he was in jail. He didn't have the resources to get his own lawyer. And he was taking his time.
He says that he did not want your help. It sounds like to me, honestly, that you just wanted him out of jail, which I get. I mean, I understand that part. And that I am not convinced that you did not take it upon yourself to get him out of jail. To say, he's taking too long, because that's what you just said. He's taking too long, he's taking his time, and you wanted him out of jail quickly. So you're under oath, did you talk to him specifically and say to him, I am going to give attorney X a retainer of X amount of money to help you with this jail situation? Did you actually have that conversation? No.
No, Your Honor. I had a lawyer go to him, and when the lawyer was there, Lyle knew that the lawyer was sent from me. The lawyer was to tell him how much everything was.
No, that's not what happened.
And so what happened? So the lawyer shows up in jail, and what happens?
The only reason I know she got a retainer is because the attorney showed up.
What happened when you had the conversation with the attorney? Did he say?
He just explained the case.
She paid for my fees. What did he say to you?
He did say that she retained him for me, but nothing about me owing or anything like that. He just said that she retained him for me.
And did this lawyer help you get out of jail?
Ultimately, yes.
Were you visiting him during these 3 months?
I did visit him twice. We had correspondence. We would write each other letters.
Do you have letters?
I do, Your Honor.
We both have letters.
I have a letter from him telling me that he will spend the rest of his life making this up to me, that he really appreciates it, and that he will love me forever.
But I want to understand about these letters now. Lyle, you say you have some letters as well?
Yeah, I have a letter she wrote to me.
All right.
Basically, how I interpret it is, regardless if I want the help or not, she's going to keep helping me.
Now, let me see that. Did you write her this letter? I owe you so much for all you have done. And then you went on to say, I will love you forever.
I always say, well, I owe you, thank you. Yes.
Can't wait to see you and put all of this behind us.
Yes, because I anticipated us always being friends.
Coming up.
I had to leave my apartment for a smaller apartment.
What?
I'm a waitress. And so all of this money that I got from my tips went to him.
Closed captioning provided by Central. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Janine Carlton, who is suing Lyle Morton for emotional distress.
What a mess. What a mess. So what's the status between the two of you now, from your perspective?
Your Honor, there is no status between us. You know, when he was in jail, I felt like as a loving partner in this relationship, I would help him out. And so I put all of my bills to the side, and in return, I had to leave my apartment for a smaller apartment.
What?
I could not afford my rent because
of all the money that you had spent on him. Now
Absolutely.
You are out of your home.
I'm out of my beautiful apartment that I absolutely loved. And not only that, Your Honor, when I moved into a smaller apartment, I had to rehome my dog. My car got repossessed.
Oh my goodness.
Okay? You know, I'm a waitress. And so all of this money that I got from my tips went to him.
Did he use that money to call you?
He did.
No.
He'd call me at least once a week.
No.
You know, he would tell me about all the good food and the snacks that he would buy with the money I put down.
And you said no, you didn't call him?
No, where's these phone records if that happened? I mean, I would assume that she would bring that evidence, right?
I didn't think I would need phone records
So
from
let's
jail.
get back to the emotional distress.
Less than 2 weeks after he got out of jail, he ghosted me.
Coming up.
I had no place to go, and...
Did you use her, Lyle? Did you use her when it was convenient? And when it wasn't convenient, you said, oh, there was no relationship,
No.
there's no commitment.
No.
Really?
Closed captioning provides Justice Central, the only court network featuring dynamic judges and live legal programming.
Well, we're not at your school, we're in my courtroom.
Unique court shows,
Where is any information about the company?
live legal news,
That's what you should have done.
and a commitment to justice.
Either you tried or you did it.
The next generation of court programming in one dynamic network. Justice Central. You're watching Justice Central. Stay tuned. You're watching Justice Central. Coming up at 10:30, watch America's Court with Judge Ross. Then catch a double dose of We the People, followed by Supreme Justice with Judge Karen at noon. The verdict is in, right here on Justice Central. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Janine Carlton, who is suing Lyle Morton for emotional distress.
When he got out, he came and lived with me. This was our plan, that we were going to continue our life together.
Did you come and live with her as soon as you got out of jail?
I had no place to go, and
did you use her? Did you use her, Lyle? Did you use her when it was convenient, and when it wasn't convenient, you said, "Oh, there was no relationship, there's no commitment"?
No, I
Really?
just got out of jail. I got accused of something very horrific.
That's deep.
I lost
that is
my
very
job.
serious.
I lost my job.
I bet you did. Yes.
I asked her for time to process. She wants an immediate relationship. I'm not ready for that at that moment.
Let me tell you, I'm going to rule on this. Let me tell you, you shouldn't have gone back to her house, right, after you got out of jail. I don't care if you had to go and move into a shelter. Do you hear me? You shouldn't have gone back, because at that point, she's expecting far more from the relationship than you are telling me that you're willing to give. She makes an excellent point. When the lawyer showed up, you didn't say, no, I don't want you. That lawyer was instrumental in probably expediting the case and you not being in jail for years waiting for a trial, and for you to be found not guilty.
After he got out of jail and ghosted me, he shows up 2 months later, uses his key that he still has to get into my apartment to tell me that he's going to try to have a relationship with that best friend.
That's not true. No.
Oh, really? That's
Did
not
you go
true?
back to her apartment 2 months later?
I went back to her just to
Why?
give her closure.
Judge Hatchett's verdict when we return.
You know, you can't have it both ways, Lyle. You can't have it both ways. Because when you were in jail and she got the lawyer, then you took the lawyer's help. You used the money that she put on your account and spent it in jail. She sent you money so you could fly back home after you got out of jail. And then when you got out of jail, you went and stayed at her house. You said, oh, but Judge doesn't have any place else to go. No. He played you. He played you. You're going to pay the money for the plane ticket back home, $200, and you were going to pay the $5,000 back for the lawyer. And you've got 3 months to come up with it. You know?
All right.
Because you're wrong. You're wrong. And you got played. He was not the man that you needed to fall in love with. And I know that's very hard to hear. Very, very hard to hear. But I hope that you have learned a lesson. And before you go jumping to rescue somebody, you need to make sure that they are worth rescuing. Are we clear?
Absolutely.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,200. We'll stand adjourned.
All rise. Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $5,200.
Why would I want to be friends with you? I've seen the kind of friends that you have.
Well, apparently it costs a lot to be your friend.
Well, looks like Lyle the liar strikes again.